Oh god, get PK.
What?
Hello, and welcome to the TheDuelingGamer's Warrior Tutorial for Tera Online. My name is Dragonbob from Dragonbobgaming. This tutorial is going to cover the basics of a warrior at level 32. Whether you're looking to be a competent warrior, or just want to learn how to destroy one in PvP, you've come to the right place. Let's get started by showing each ability's functionality, followed by an example in live combat. This first ability is called Defensive Stance. While using this ability, your endurance is increased by 20%, and you will generate 45% more aggro, although keep in mind that you will be losing 15 mana every 2 seconds while this ability is in effect. It is recommended this ability be used while tanking, and while up against heavy hitters in PvP. This next ability is called Assault Stance. Much like Defensive Stance, this ability will drain 15 mana every 2 seconds. You will gain 20% more strength and 40 additional crit, but be warned, you will also lose 15% of your own endurance. Use this ability when DPSing and with extreme caution in PvP. This ability is the final buff a warrior at level 32 gets. It is called Mangle. Similar to the last two buffs, this buff will diminish 10 mana every 2 seconds. This ability will put a debuff on your opponent that slows them after your 4th consecutive combo attack. We'll discuss combo attacks next. This ability is amazing in PvP, as it assists you in keeping your target close by. Combo attack is your most basic attack. If pressed consistently, it will combo up to a maximum of 4 times. This ability costs no resources to use, and generates mana rapidly when successfully landing. Now, to see it in action. This next ability is definitely one of the warrior's key tools to succeed in both PvE and PvP. Evasive Roll is an ability designed to dodge any attack if timed correctly. For those seeking an advantage over warriors, the time to strike is during the 5-second cooldown that the warrior cannot dodge your attacks. Let's watch this versus a real monster. An ability that makes you completely immune to all damage for a mere moment? Sounds great, doesn't it? Death from Above does exactly that, with the addition of causing damage to nearby enemies. Here, you can see this ability in use versus a Berserker. Now that we've covered the main utility moves a warrior uses, let's briefly cover the 4 moves that a warrior gets to increase their mobility. The first is Charging Slash. This ability is nice as it will sprint forward in any direction you choose, and land a small attack if the charge is stopped by a monster. This is the best mobility move a warrior gets by level 32. Second, we have Pounce. This ability lunges the warrior forward, doing a small attack and slowing your opponent for a short period of time. If you can manage to strike an enemy player with this attack, you're sure to keep them close by. Third on the list is Combative Strike. This ability isn't designed to provide much mobility and actually costs HP to use, but it leaves a nasty debuff on your enemy, reducing their endurance by 4.5%. Last but not least, Leaping Strike. This ability will launch you a fair distance and does 5 times damage on knocked down opponents. This can be used for mobility, and, well, have you ever heard of kicking them while they're down? Same thing, except with swords! Next, some standard abilities will be discussed. These abilities are usually used when your main combos are on cooldown and you need some additional DPS. Rain of Blows. This ability is given to warriors at a very low level. It provides steady damage and, if glyphed properly, will provide a small heal. This really helps in the leveling process, as warriors truly do suffer without a healer while questing. A quick note here, the ability being used after this warrior is knocked down is called Retaliate. Every class in the game gets it. When you get knocked down, you jump to your feet and kick them in the teeth. Have you ever wished that you had an ability that could literally one-shot anyone? An ability that made your character completely overly powered? Well, this ability is nothing like that. Torrent of Blows is an ability designed for gaining additional aggro while your taunt is on cooldown. This ability also reduces the damage you take while performing it by 50%. Warriors get 1 damage over time ability by level 32. It's called Poison Blade. Its effect is pretty self-explanatory. It's recommended to use this ability on targets that are getting away from you or during long boss fights for extra damage. Warriors have 2 very useful abilities with longer than average cooldowns. These will be shown next.
Battle Cry!
An ability that not only taunts every monster around you, but also has a chance to stun them. This move is especially nice in PvP as it has a large radius and can stun players. This next ability is a fun one, Smoke Aggressor. For the cost of both HP and mana, the warrior spawns a shadow version of themselves. This creature will automatically pull all threat off of you once it reaches the enemy monster. This is great in a tight situation. It's finally time to show off a warrior's combo abilities. These attacks have prerequisite abilities that are required to be used before you can execute them. A true master of warrior will be able to use these combos to become a deadly killing machine. This ability is known as Rising Fury. You can use it once and do a 2-swing attack, use it twice in a row and perform a complete 3-swing attack. This ability not only damages when connecting, but also moves you forward while swinging, increasing mobility. It also reduces the damage you take by 20% while executing. This next combo ability is only usable after the correct attack has been used first. Vortex Slash does a high damage AoE to everyone around the warrior. This ability can only be activated first using Evasive Roll or Death from Above. When you see a warrior use either of these 2 starter abilities, prepare to block or dodge quickly to avoid this powerful attack. Traverse Cut. If this attack is used by itself, it strikes 3 times in front of the warrior, leaving a stacking endurance debuff on the enemy. If Pounce or Combative Strike are used first, this ability strikes 13 times extremely fast, leaving the same debuff. Stacked 10 extra times. If you're facing a warrior, this badass ability isn't one to take lightly. Avoid it at all costs. The final chain ability is called Blade Draw. Similar to Traverse Cut, if it is used by itself, it is a much slower attack. Keep in mind this is one of the strongest attacks a warrior has to offer, so performing it quickly is ideal. This ability can be chained with Traverse Cut, Vortex Slash, Charging Slash, or Rising Fury. Let's watch a full-fledged chain attack in this footage from a duel. Now that you know every ability a warrior gets by level 32, if you haven't guessed it already, warriors are not just limited to a DPS class in Tera Online. They double as an invasion tank in dungeons and boss fights. It's said that warriors are the hardest tank to get down, and that it takes extra skill to be a successful warrior tank. So if you're a little crybaby who can't handle the challenge, warriors probably aren't for you. Now that the attacks and a warrior's role in the game have been specified, let's watch a clip from a warrior fighting one of the many BAMs, also known as big ass monsters that Tera has to offer. Okay, I know what you're thinking. This was the most badass fight you've ever seen, and you only wish you could be that awesome. But how about we show those techniques versus a human mind behind the beast? And this concludes the Dueling Gamer's Warrior tutorial for Tera Online. If this video didn't send you to your mommy crying, congratulations! You now know every ability a warrior gets up to level 32, and how to utilize them. So get out there and kick some ass! This is Dragonbob from Dragonbobgaming. Talk at you later.